Everything good?
Yes.
Perfect. Alrighty. So let's get started. It is 1:10. Today we're going to talk about getting leads, how to get leads, how to get more leads. That is essentially the name of the game when it comes to real estate. We are in a service-based business. We are essentially in a commodity business as well. Right? There's plenty of us out there. What do we do that stands out, that's different than everybody else? How do we prospect? A lot of different avenues to be able to do so. And we're going to touch base on a few of them today. For those of you that do not know me, this is me. $150 million plus closed in the last 6 years. I've been a loan officer for 6 years. Before that, I was a real estate agent for 2 years. I did, as an agent, a lot of pre-foreclosure listings and calls. And those are probably the toughest conversations to have with people as they're losing their homes. And so throughout that process, I learned that I actually like to educate people and teach people and stuff like that. So what I did was I started to learn how loan modifications work, because that was the number one rejection that I would get on the phone. I'm not selling my home. I'm going to do a loan modification, et cetera, et cetera. So I had to learn how loan modifications work in order to be able to speak to these people, and ended up essentially becoming in more so as a consultant or advisor for a lot of the clients, and walking them through the process. And then when they realized that the loan modification would not go through, then I would be able to list for them. Also featured in Scotsman's Guide. Scotsman's Guide is basically like a mortgage centric hub, I would say, for commercial, residential mortgages, things like that. So I've been featured on there. CBS News as well. I was on the news, spoke about Hometown Heroes. I think it's been like 2 years now. But yeah, they interviewed me as well, and that was a fun time. Also the founder of the Young Realtors Division. You guys know Dr. Karen. You guys know about National Association of Real Estate Brokers. I am the second VP, the incoming vice president for 2026 for the South Florida Board of Realtors. Also a certified mortgage advisor and a financial literacy advocate. A lot of our people do not understand financial literacy, how to save money, how to invest money, different ways, and stuff like that. So we do a lot of consultations with clients, and that's where we go over their scope of things, whether they approve or don't approve, why or why not, and what they can do to be able to get ready. All right, so when we're talking about getting business, right? Not just leads or clients, just specifically getting business. It's either spending time or spending money, right? So you need to figure out which category you essentially fall into. You'll always pay for leads, whether that's with your time or with your money. That is very, very important to understand, because if you're going to trade time for money, then you need to be able to make time to be able to get leads, right? I trade time for money. I don't pay for leads. I don't do Zillow. I don't do Realtor.com or any of these other sources, right? A lot of what I do is based off of referral partners, and it is essentially organic. So free leads equals time investment, cold calls, networking, social media, open houses, things like that. Paid leads, right? Ads, even pay at closing lead services if you want to do that. Sponsorships, Zillow, Realtor.com, those avenues where you can get leads to come in, and if you're first to the phone, you pick it up and you have a possibility of converting them. And over time, it may or may not make sense for you, depending on if you're able to get to those calls on time. But there is a balance, and there is something that I want you guys to already be able to decide. If it's time, then you need to spend time. If it's money, then you need to spend money, right? Early career agents often trade time. Seasoned agents may shift more towards money, right? May not have enough time to be prospecting every single day. So I'll dish out money and let my money work for me and pay for those leads, and then hopefully get that return on investment down the line, right? So one strategy that is absolutely free that I love to present to people because not many people have thought about it. This was one of the strategies that I did way back when I was an agent, and it worked for me phenomenally. So for sale by owners, right? A lot of times you think of a for sale by owner, you don't want to have that phone call. They're going to shut you down as soon as you say that you're an agent. And it's very difficult to be able to get a for sale by owner to convert to being a client over the phone. Well, what I typically suggest to do is instead of calling them, asking them why they haven't listed with an agent, say, hey, I'm an agent. I'm not looking to, I'm not calling you to be able to list your property. In fact, I want to be able to get you a buyer for your property, and I'm willing to do an open house for you for free. You do not need to pay me anything, okay? And when we do that open house, any buyers that come in, if they end up buying your house, it is directly you with the buyer or the buyer's agent or whoever it is, and you get more free exposure on your property. You don't pay me a thing. Buyer comes in, sell your house, perfect, right? Now, when you are offering that, you're still not going to get 100% yeses, right? But you're going to get much more conversion. They'll be more willing to talk to you. And then when you do get that yes, hosting that open house is everything, right? Put it for 2 weeks out. Don't do it for the weekend coming up and then trying to rush with marketing and listing it on Zillow and all these things. Ideally, you want to give yourself time. 2 weeks out, you basically already say, okay, next, not this Saturday, next Saturday, I'm going to be doing the open house. So make sure that you have the house clean, prepped, and ready. It's going to be Saturday from 12 to 3 or whatever the case is, right? At that point, now from the moment that you hang up to the open house is having a strategy together to be able to convert during the open house. So it's probably a little bit obvious, but I'm going to state it in either way, right? Why do an open house for free for a person who's probably not going to list with me? Well, because you have the potential of getting buyer leads that are actual warm leads that are out looking that may not have an agent, right? Now you're putting yourself in front of more people, and you are also showing the seller how you work as an agent before you do the open house, because after the open house is where you're going to basically tell them, look, if nobody ends up purchasing, you see how I work. We've had conversations, met face to face. If you ever consider listing with an agent, I did a comparable market analysis for you, a CMA, how to sell your home guide, and you keep in contact with them, right? And now they're more willing to pick up your phone call when you call them in the future. So you have that, and you open yourself up, and you're doing something that a lot of agents do not do, and you're providing value to that seller. They may not list with you at all, but you give yourself an opportunity to be able to get buyer leads and build that relationship with that seller as well. It works phenomenally. Okay, so trying that out, calling for sale by owners, not to list their properties, but to do an open house for them. It is good exposure for you, and you put it out for those 2 weeks. And the weekend before, the reason why I say 2 weeks is that weekend before the open house, you can essentially canvas the neighborhood, right? Now you have a reason to walk around and say, hey, your neighbor's selling their property. He's doing an open house next Saturday. Would love for you to come by, right? You canvas the neighborhood and you give them the information on the open house the Saturday before the open house and invite them out for that next weekend, right? Because neighbors are most likely going to show up either way. The more traction you're able to get, the more wow factor you'll have with the seller. So try that out. It will definitely work for you. It may not work on the first try, but this is a really good, consistent way to be able to get buyer leads and potential seller leads at the same time and really, boost up your business. Visibles are rare and often disappointed, giving you a superb opportunity to step in with solutions like open houses, marketing guides, or showcasing.
I'm sorry, I think my sound went out. I can't hear anything.
Can everybody else hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Oops. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you now. I'm sorry about that. Okay, thank you.
No worries. So does anybody have any questions on this strategy for sale by owners? No? All right, perfect. We will move on to expired listings. So another creative way to convert where it's not just, hey, your home didn't sell. Are you still looking to sell it? I can help you, because they're getting 30 to 50 phone calls a day from agents that are doing the same thing, right? The first thing you want to do, and it does take more time to do these things, right? But you want to be able to stand out. And as opposed to just banging out phone calls all day, because a lot of people don't like to do that, even though, in my opinion, it is the quickest way to be able to get traction in your business. Phone calls are always the best way to be able to convert quickly and start getting sales in. They're uncomfortable, and it takes a lot to be able to do it, which you can still do when it comes to these for sale by owners and these expired listings. And bang out those phone calls. And especially with the expired listings, you do that, but then you also do here what I have in front of you. First is you want to pull up that listing, right? That expired listing, and point out things that are wrong with the listing, right? The pictures were done on an iPhone. The agent took a picture, and you can see his shorts that he was wearing through the bathroom mirror. There's only 3 pictures on that listing, right? Maybe it was a condo that didn't end up selling. A lot of times that's happening right now. A lot of condos are not selling, right? Different things that were wrong with that listing that was put together on the MLS, and send it to them. Send it to the seller, right? Hey, if I know that you had your home listed or your condo listed for sale. It sucks that it didn't sell. From my perspective, these are some of the things that probably should have been done on this listing to be able to get it to sell before it expired or faster, or whatever the case is. And then offering them a free property analysis as well, and lender insights to reposition their listing. So with me specifically, I am a partner, right? I'm not just a loan officer that's going to intake leads. I'm in the weeds with you guys. Okay, I don't get paid a salary. I get paid when you guys get paid, once the deal's done, right? So for anything that you guys need of me, if you want me to pull up any sort of neighborhood insights or anything like that from the systems that I use, by all means, you can always ask me. Let me know the city or the zip code, and I can provide that for you as well when it comes to the expired listings. But calling them, right, letting them know, try to schedule that listing agreement or that listing appointment with them, but then also send them things as to why you believe their listing didn't sell, and show your worth as an agent as well. These are going to convert much better. Typically, they usually convert much better than FSBOs. In my opinion, that open house strategy really helps with helps maybe not with the listing side more than the buyer side, but it does. You're going to get more traction in terms of potential leads and clients doing the FSBOs, because now you're attacking both the seller and then also the buyers, the potential buyers as well. Promote home buyer programs. Okay, we're going to start jumping into social media. This is a good segue into the next slide that I have, but there are a lot of home buyer programs out there. As agents, I know that they may be a pain in the butt depending on the lender that you work with, but if you can convert a client because they don't have assets but they have credit and income, I'll take that any day of the week. A small paycheck is better than no paycheck, right? So creating a flyer or PDF with programs and their income limits, share it at the open houses that you're going to be doing for the for sale by owner, community boards, and social media. Okay, co-brand with agents, and put yourself as the go-to resource. And many buyers think down payment assistance is unattainable. A lot of people may not even know about them. A lot of agents don't know about much more than Hometown Heroes. And there's a plethora of them. So I do have a PDF for you guys that showed up today that I will be sending to you after we're done here, of down payment assistance programs that are available in South Florida. It is a short list. I do not have any city specific ones on there because that list could go on for days. But they're very attainable down payment assistance programs out there that are year round, that are not county based, that are actually from the state of Florida, from the same people that do Hometown Heroes. They have a bunch of other programs throughout the state that people can take advantage of. And those programs are phenomenal because there is no second underwriting. Everything is done in-house, so you don't have to wait 60 days for a county worker to review the income and give their opinion on what they believe that person's income is, or anything like that. Any programs now we can promote. My favorite one that I do a lot of is the Florida Bond. It is for all of Florida. It has relatively high income limits for first-time homebuyers, minimum FICO of 640. And there's two options that they have, either 10,000 or 12,500, depending on the program. And it seems like a little bit of money, but I will tell you this, that on average, the cash to close on that program is about 15,000 to 16,000 all in, right? That is an average. That's not best case scenario. That is assuming no seller credit, which in this market, we know we can take advantage of. So if you're getting a $10,000 seller credit from a seller, your client's walking in with $5,000 to $6,000 all in, and they don't have to be a frontline worker, and be in the Hometown Heroes program. So we do a lot of them. I would tell you 90 to 95% of my clients that are first-time home buyers are getting some sort of down payment assistance program. And they're not that well advertised or well known, but they are effective and they do work. So promoting those, which leads us into social media. I know that a lot of people are very scared in front of the camera, don't feel comfortable, don't know what to say. We are in a space where you do not have to be in front of the camera to be able to promote or get things across, right? So once again, it's about thinking outside the box, like how we did with the FSBOs, how we did with the expireds. Think outside the box. If you're not comfortable with being on camera and talking, you don't have to be, okay? You can do property tours with financing hooks. I have a pretty big real estate team in the South Florida market that does this, and it is very effective for getting online or leads through social media. And they don't necessarily need to show their face, right? So if there's listings within the brokerage, you can start there, ask the agents that have the listings if you can go and do a quick property tour with your phone. You go in, you walk around the house, you show the whole house, you don't have to say a word. You put it together on Canva, and you can basically put, down payment of whatever. And so what happened, or what the agents do, what a lot of people do is they're only going to put the down payment percentage amount, right? So if it's a $400,000 house, 3.5% is $13,000 or $14,000 or something like that. I think it's like 13,000. You would put that basically, own this home for $13,000 down, right? And so you're not essentially lying, because that's what their down payment is, and you can get closing costs help and stuff like that. But that is a strategy that you can use, that you do not have to be in front of the camera or speaking to it or anything like that. And you can highlight things on the caption, put music on the background. Instagram allows you to do all that stuff. And that conversion rate when doing these things is very, very high. A lot of people are interested in what properties look like, right? And so when we're talking about potentially getting leads, this is a phenomenal way to be able to do it, right? When you're doing that FSBO or that open house for the FSBO, you can do the same thing. Now you have social media content as well for that week. But definitely try it out, see how it works for you. But this is a great, great way to be able to get some social media leads or online leads without you, one, having to pay, or two, having to get over the fear of being in front of the camera or anything like that. Educational did you know videos, same thing, right? You can have a video that you get from Canva that shows the Bay of Miami Beach or something along those lines, and just put did you know, one quick fact, read the caption for more, and then you can expand on the caption, and people eat it up, right? Very simple, very quick. That's another way to be able to get traction, right? Did you know you don't need 20% down on conventional loan? You can go as low as 3%. Here's how, right? Caption: must be a first-time home buyer buying a primary residence, or whatever the case is that you want to put on the caption. But it allows you to now start marketing on social media effectively without you having to worry about what to say, how to say it. You know, how does your hair look? How does my hair look? Stuff like that. It's very simple to be able to do. You don't have to worry about that. If you are okay with being in front of the camera, TikTok and IG lives are also very effective. You get, your followers to be able to come in there, ask you questions, and you can go live with any partner. It could be a loan officer, it can be an appraiser, another agent that you work hand in hand with, an inspector, title, right? And then just break down different topics. You can do that once a month, and that also shows, and it'll get your followers to start coming in and asking those questions and stuff like that. So you can do that. TikTok lives, the great thing about TikTok lives is that a lot of people can find you without actually having to follow you, as opposed to IG, where it's usually stuck in that profile. But always have some sort of call to action. It's not just about getting the views, right? The views are nice because you're staying top of mind, which is the number one goal when being in this business, is when that person is ready to purchase or to sell, I'm right in front of them, whether I'm doing direct marketing to them or they're in my CRM, which we'll talk about a little bit later as well. But I'm always constantly marketing in front of them. We have to continue to be marketing in strategic ways, and doing things like this will allow you to be able to do that and be in other places and doing other things and stuff like that. That's why social media is the best. But I understand a lot of people are not comfortable with it, and may take a little bit of time to be able to get comfortable with the camera. Don't worry about it. Do a property tour, do a did you know with some other background that's catchy, that has a moving, that's moving, obviously. It's not a stagnant photo, and have that video play out with your facts, any sort of FAQs that they may have, stuff like that. But also call to actions are very important after those videos, right? DM me for more information on this property, right? DM me for, the specifics on not needing 20% down, whatever that looks like. Having some sort of call to action is going to be very important. Webinars. Okay, webinars. Now, speaking to agents, a lot of them are very 50-50. There's a reason why I didn't put seminars on here. I think seminars in 2025 is much more difficult to be able to get people to. But webinars are relatively easy. And you may get many more signups than actually show up. But guess what? You have those people's information, and that is the number one key of what you want, right? Because now if they don't show up, you can call them after, or text them after, or email them after. Hey, sorry we missed you. This is did a quick overview of what we spoke about. Here's the booklet that we gave out during our webinar, right? And then you can start to continue to drip them over and over again. But webinars are good because people don't have to leave their house. You can do them at any day of the week, right? Ideally, the best time, from what I notice, is usually after work. So doing a webinar on a Tuesday or Wednesday at 7 o'clock at night, 7:30 at night, is probably the best time to do it, because now people are home, they're settled down, they already got the kids from school and everything. And if they are interested in purchasing a home, they don't have to go anywhere. They tune in on the Zoom. You're speaking about the market, you're speaking about potential programs, you're speaking about title, how does title work, appraisal, what's the mortgage process throughout, different things that the first-time home buyer would like to know. So doing webinars is, in my experience, is effective. It is about gathering as many people as you possibly can. If you guys use your CRMs right now, that's going to be key. If not, starting to utilize your CRMs and putting those people's information in there so that you can plan a webinar for October, how to purchase your property in 2026, right? And then you can do October, November, December. Those are 3 webinars right there, right? And then you can start getting people in there and getting them ready to purchase in the new year or right away if they're already ready. So education builds trust, and webinars can be repurposed into content as well, right? Sharing your screen, talking, going over these things, recording your screen, I would say, recording the whole webinar. You can use that now when we're talking about content, right? Where we don't know how to go through a script, but we got our clients in front of us. We're just going through some sort of educational webinar. You record the full thing. You upload it into, I'm going to give you guys a website now, and I'll actually type it into the chat here. This is one that I use for short clips. It works really, really, really well. Where is the chat? Oh, here. Opus.ai. So you can do a long form video, long form webinar. You put that whole thing in there and it'll chop it up into minute clips for you. And it'll tell you which ones are which ones are better than others, stuff like that. So you can utilize that. What topics for webinars? Buying your first home, renting versus owning, credit myths debunked. Another one as well would be starting into investing. People are straying away from the first time home buyer talk, right? It feels a little oversaturated. So what I see a lot of people gravitating towards is, how to start investing in real estate, right? And it's the same thing, because when you're buying your home, you're investing in real estate regardless, right? It's just that the marketing and the verbiage is a little bit different. Partner with a loan officer, a title company, credit repair company as well, or credit person for those webinars, so that way they can speak to their topics. And then you can record it and upload it to YouTube as well if you so choose. But definitely at least getting the short clips for your social media would be very helpful, because that's a way to do it where you're not reading a script. Most of the time other people are speaking as well, and you're just kind of the host of the webinar. But this is highly effective. I did one with one of my agents in Orlando back in June, I believe. Around June, she had like a good 30 to 40 people on. It was like at 8 o'clock at night. She had a good amount of people on, and we're actually under contract with one of the people that was in part of that webinar now. Actually, as of this weekend, they went under contract. So these things work. It's just about being consistent. If you want to do all of these, that's fine. Just figuring out how you're going to be consistent with doing all of them, or maybe you're only going to do 2 or 3, but just being consistent with that flow. If you're going to do webinars, you want to make sure that you're marketing them correctly. You don't want to do a webinar next, what is it, Tuesday? You don't want to do a webinar next Tuesday and expect 30 people to show up. Put time in between it, right? 30 days, so that you have time to be able to invite people, remind them to show up, have signups going and stuff like that. Newsletter and market updates. So now we're getting into more so staying top of mind, right? Soft marketing, basically just making sure that you're continuously in front of people's faces, right? That's the key, because you're not going to be able to convert 100% of the people right away. In our business, what we're doing today may not come into fruition for another 4 months, right? So how do you consistently stay in front of people without having to just call them every week and say, hey, I'm an agent, right? Newsletters, market updates, which is where your CRM is key. Okay, probably should have done a CRM presentation before this one because of how important your CRM is, but it is very, very important. Like I cannot stress the importance of a CRM for someone that doesn't use it. Please, if you don't have a CRM, or you don't use a CRM, or you're not using your CRM to its full potential, dig into that as soon as you can. You should be adding in every single person that you come in contact with into that CRM, differentiating them by different tags so that you know who's who, even if it's on Instagram, where you only have their Instagram handle. You make a profile for them on your CRM, and you have their Instagram handle so that you know when it's time for you to start doing your follow-ups, who to reach out to, right? If I'm going to be doing a webinar in 30 days and I want to invite some of the people that reached out to me on social media, I look at my CRM and I see my tag social media, and I see at this person, at this person, at this person, at this person. I go to them, I send them a DM and say, hey, so-and-so, just wanted to reach out to you. We're doing a first time investing webinar next month. Would love for you to be able to join in, right? Here's the link for registration. We're going to be talking to you about how to start investing into real estate, right? So now you have the potential of getting their information without outright asking them what's your phone number and your email. Key, right? But then also now you're using your CRM to help you organize yourself in your mind to be consistent in what you're doing and your flow, and continuously staying top of mind. But back to the newsletter and market updates, you should be having campaigns, basically, right? Campaigns going out consistently on a weekly basis, even if they're just emails, talking about, right, what's going on in the market. Here's the information for this week. Did you know? Did you know that home prices have increased in Broward the last 3 months? The housing market is getting hot. Whatever it is, should be consistent every single week to everybody in your CRM that is a potential client or a closed client. Doesn't matter, right? Staying top of mind, because that closed client, you want to make sure that they remember you when they're referring somebody over or they're looking to sell in the future and buy a new property. But definitely putting together some sort of newsletter will help you with your soft sales and help you as you get that information in from potential leads and clients. When you're doing your FSBOs and you have your sign up sheet there and they put their information down, you're going home directly to put it into your CRM. When you're calling expireds and you're putting that information into your CRM, right? When you're advertising down payment assistance on social media or on open houses, and you get the client's information to be able to give them that flyer, right? So you do basically an intake form. I'll give you an example. On one of your social media posts, on the did you knows, did you know that there's a ton of down payment assistance programs available in South Florida for first-time home buyers? Correct caption for more information, or DM me for more information, or whatever the case is. And then when you receive that DM, then you can, oh, I've been sitting down for a while. That's fine. When you receive that DM, then you can say, yeah, here's the link for that. If you put it behind a landing page that you have where they put in their information, and then with putting in their information, that's what they retrieve that flyer for, then now you have that phone number and email address for your CRM that you can continue to campaign, send newsletters, market updates to consistently every single month, stuff like that. You always want to try to capture that information, right? People's phone number and emails are very, very important for us in sales, because that's how we can continue to market to them and reach out to them. So lastly, you can do either pay at closing lead services or Zillow or Realtor.com, where you're paying monthly a certain amount, and you're taking on those leads as well and converting them, because a lot of leads do go through those websites first. The pay at closing lead services, you don't pay until or if you close, and they give you leads. So they're essentially free at first, and then by the time of closing, then you'll split your commission with the pay at closing lead service as well. These are good to start getting leads in as well. If you want to use this as one avenue, this should not be the main avenue, right? Because the commission splits for these companies plus the commission split for the broker may be too much, where you're walking home with a little bit of less. But if they allow you to jumpstart your business, then it's a good place to start at. Okay, so should be something that's done on the side. This should not be the main thing that you want to do. like it says here, actually good for building momentum or filling pipeline gaps. Absolutely true, but it's not, definitely not one that you want to do where, for a long period of time, or do for your more than maybe a couple deals just to get your feet wet and start moving forward with them. All right, so I mentioned CRM. I'm going to mention it again. This is doing all of these things mean nothing if you're not capturing as much people's information as possible. Okay. Every client that I get, every lead that I get goes into my CRM. They are put in a specific pipeline. They are tagged a specific way so that way we know when we need to follow up, how we need to follow up, and what the timing of things are for them. Okay. When you're setting up your CRM, and I do have a CRM presentation that I can do for you guys at another time, but I like to simplify it. You want to have an A client, a B client, and a C client. Okay. So you should have on the selling side, A clients, B clients, C clients. On the buying side, A clients, B clients, C clients, right? The A clients are the hot and ready ones, right? The ones that are ready to go right away. They're ready to sell or they're ready to buy, right? Those are the ones that you're following up weekly. The B clients may be ones that just need, their credit score is not terrible. They don't need credit repair. They just need to pay off some debt, right? They're right there on the fence. Maybe they're about a month out, right? Or a couple months out. That's going to be a B client. A C client would be essentially someone that we know has a ton of work to do. We gave them the blueprint, so we're just going to follow up with them monthly, right? Consistently for the next 6 months to a year, once a month. The B clients you'll be doing bi-weekly, right? So every 2 weeks, and it's not hard phone. They're not supposed to be hard phone calls, right? They could be automated text messages, which you should have a CRM that does that for you. They could be emails consistently, right? The same campaign for everybody should be the same thing, right? Every client should get the same campaign. The only difference is how frequently does that campaign go out for any different client. If they're an A client, that campaign probably goes out once a week, whether it's email or text or whatever the case is. B client bi-weekly, C client monthly, right? So the C clients will be getting that campaign for a longer period of time. But your CRM is everything. You should have it always in front of you as a refresher, because you can look at it and say, oh, I almost forgot about this person. Let me give them a call and see how they're doing. And you never know with your timing what could happen and what can come of that. Okay. So please use your CRM to its full potential. I cannot stress that enough, because you cannot carry everything in your mind, and you're going to have people that you forget about that close elsewhere, and you're going to kick yourself in the butt. So leads are everywhere. Success comes from consistency, creativity, and capturing. CRM, very, very important. Do you guys have any questions? Did you guys learn something today?
Thank you. Yes. Thank you. It was something, I can't remember what it was. It left me really quickly, but I wanted to ask a question about something. I'll just give myself a few minutes to try to remember what it was.
Okay, no problem. And Susie, any questions? Sienna, any questions? No, was this helpful for you guys? At least give you guys an idea, different ways to be able to prospect, be more creative, stand out a little bit more. The down payment assistance stuff, I will get it over to you guys. If you guys can just in the chat, put your email address on there. Let me see if I could give you a quick rundown on it really quick. Let me see. So stop sharing here and then share on this one. Okay, perfect. So we've got about 8 on here. There is a bunch more that you're able to tap into and This is something that we just started, so we will be expanding the list. There's a lot that comes from Florida housing in and of itself that is all of Florida, different counties and stuff like that. They've got a bunch, depending on the market that you're looking in, St. Lucie, Palm Beach, Hillsborough, which is Tampa. They have in Orlando as well. The Florida housing ones, these are my favorite loans or my favorite down payment assistance programs because they are the easiest to do. HFA of Miami-Dade County is also part of Florida housing as well. Their income limits are relatively high depending on which program. Florida Bond, their income limit, I believe, is 120. The TBA, which is within Florida housing, I believe is 140. And then they have a plus TBA as well on top of that goes up to like 160 in Broward, right? So a lot of people qualify for these programs, and they don't necessarily have to be low income. Like for those of you that know Broward, I've done Broward in the past a ton. They only go up to 80% AMI or area median income. That's like $58,000 a year for one person household. Makes it very difficult to be able to find a client that's going to fit that income limit for Broward, right? So their income limits are relatively high. First time home buyer, minimum FICO 640, and then being below the income limits. Super simple stuff. You also have MD and HAP. You have PHCD, which is Public Housing Community Development in Miami-Dade. Both of those programs are through Miami-Dade, the MD and the PHCD. You have Broward's HPA. We also have an in-house 100% funding for FHA. You don't have to be a first-time home buyer. It's just for FHA loans, either 3.5% or 5% down payment assistance. This one is there's no other option, so this is the only option. DPA is what I like to call it. It's very similar to Genoa Fund, if you guys know about that one. It is not the best program, so I try to stay with the Florida housing stuff. But I have done MD in the past. I've done Broward, especially for those clients that need that money to be able to qualify for a little bit more. We'll definitely use those programs for them too. But I'll send you this as well via email so that way you have it. My information is also here. This is my cell. This is the office line. I do have a team that works with me. So we are pretty much always available for you. If we don't answer your call right away, we'll get back to you within the same day. And like I mentioned, everybody on the team knows we're your partners. We're not on the other side of the transaction. We're in the weeds together, and we'll do whatever we can to be able to help you guys succeed. So at the end of the day, like I mentioned, if your deal doesn't close, that's my deal that doesn't close. So we do what we can to be able to help you out, grow your business, get more leads, close more deals as well. So yeah, if you guys don't have any other questions, then
I remembered. My question was about the landing page. When you were talking about the campaigns, social media.
Mm-hmm.
What type of landing page would that be to capture their information? Something simple, or is there a certain platform or website that we can use to subscribe?
Yeah. So what CRM do you have?
Well, right now, Dr. Karen said we're getting a new one. So right now, yeah, I just did my contacts, but I don't have them set up in anything yet.
Okay. All right. So depending on the CRM, some CRMs will be able to do come with you being able to do a landing page on it. If not, because my CRM does have a landing page. If not, you can essentially set up a very basic site yourself. And there's also landing pages that you can do that are very, very cheap. Let me see. Yeah, Squarespace, which is basically a website. Lead pages as well. I would suggest if you're going to be doing the landing page option, for sure, try to create a very basic website for yourself. Should only take, with Squarespace and those easy website builder stuff, probably only take you a Saturday or a Sunday to be able to do it. And then from there, you can create separate landing pages depending on what you're trying to promote for them. So that would be my suggestion. If your CRM doesn't come with one, just have a very basic website that you put together, has your information. You sell in South Florida. It could be a one pager, and then from there you build out the landing pages. And so when somebody wants to connect with you or wants to get this information, then what you're doing is you're essentially sending your URL, right? It'll be, sellingsouthflorida.com/down payment assistance, right? And then that's the landing page there. And then they put in their information. You'll capture it into your website, and then you can send them over the information through that.